Hello everyone, my name is Shelby and this is the series where I reveal what is inside these mystery pottery molds I found on Gumtree. Hello and welcome to Mould 93. I am very excited again this week because I've been holding off this mold for October, and if that doesn't give it away, I don't know what will. This one was a close call with the jug. I used the whole thing and it was lucky it just reached the top. I tipped out the excess and I opened this one up to reveal a pumpkin mug. I'm so excited. I've been wanting a pumpkin mug, but here's something I do when I want to check out the other side and pretend like it's the reveal again. Is I put the other half back on to open it up, and the other side shows that it's a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin mug. And to add to that, its handle is this gorgeous ghost tree trunk. So kind of like a creepy willow or something. It reminds me so much of like the ghost gums, or yeah, I'm just so stoked to see that. And it's also very detailed, a lot more detailed than what you first see. Is that it's got these gorgeous little rooting details on the handle that connect it to the mug, but it's also got it on the rim of the cup too. So with this, I was looking at the texture and I was going, oh, that wouldn't be really nice to drink from, as cute as it is to have all this texture and how beautiful it can be and creepy and eerie. It's just like, if we want this to be functional, I just think that sipping on that texture is not gonna feel nice on your lip, so I cut it off. The mold looks like this if you're looking for it. This one was fit with creepy crawlies just to keep it all on brand this week, and you can have a look and you can kind of see that it has all those details and textures on it. It wasn't as mysterious as some of the molds can look. I begin to paint these pieces up. I wanted to do traditional pumpkins that look like they've been sitting in a haunted house, that have aged and decayed and are looking a little bit haunted themselves. Given this is such a beautiful shape and it is so creepy in nature, I felt like it was the only thing I could really do with it to make it really true to the piece and what the piece needed. I always have this reflection as I'm painting the piece each week, and I wish I had more time with some of the pieces, because this is one piece where as I was painting it, I had all these really cool ideas that I just did not have time to execute this time, but has given me ideas for the next time I do this mold, even next Halloween. I was painting them with the full intention of them being mugs and showing them off as mugs, but as I was looking at them, I thought, how great would it have been to sculpt some little vines and leaves onto these mugs, as well as some little like pumpkin flowers, painting those onto the piece and making it look like it has like grown over with all these vines from the pumpkin bush. On top of that, I was also looking at the fact that it is a jack-o'-lantern, and usually jack-o'-lanterns you put a little tea light in them, and I thought, how cute would this be if there was a hole cut out at the back, the eyes, mouth and nose were cut out like a jack-o'-lantern, and you put a little tea light in there, and also had like a little diffuser on the top so you could melt your wax melts or a little bit of essential oils in there as well. And I was just like, that would be so pretty. But again, I had these ideas like literally a couple of days ago from when I edited this video, and just not enough time to execute it in time for the weekly video. So I will definitely have to do a comeback with this piece and give those ideas a go for next Halloween. But it just goes to show that sometimes with these pieces, as I'm painting them, I'm getting a bit more of a closer look at them and getting inspired by what they are and what they could be, and these ideas sort of rush in as my creativity starts to flow. It doesn't always come straight away, and sometimes the ideas take a few times to develop. That was my reflection for the week that I wanted to share with you, is sometimes you just need to start your artwork, and the ideas and the interpretations and the creativity will flow, leading to new things and new thoughts and ways to develop yourself and your artwork even further. But it just goes to show to just start, but also persevere with an artwork anyway, because you just never know how far along that process it will inspire you for these new interpretations and new ideas. So here I am persevering with these beautiful works, partly because I don't have time to experiment with those other works, but because I know these will still look great and they are still going to be amazing work. effects, and they just need to exist in this point in my process as well. So that will definitely be something I'll have to revisit in the new year, which is so bizarre to even think about. But these definitely need to make a comeback for next Halloween with these new interpretations that I've had this week. Anyway, getting back to what I'm actually doing with these pieces is I have added the color, and I've done your sort of traditional pumpkin looking colors, so orange, yellow, and some green. I've also done a purple one, and I'm doing this sort of pink fun color one. I don't know, I mean, they're all fun colors, but I just wanted to do one that was sort of a me color one rather than a Halloween palette or autumn palette one. So once they had the main color on them, I added a complementary brown. So I mixed a brown with the color that I used on the main part of the pumpkin. I then added a black inlay into the eyes, nose, and mouth. And then it was time to bisquify them and add this black wash. And I was loving it. It was dripping and gooping down the pumpkin cracks like a creepy potion dripping out of a cauldron. And I just had to show you how much fun I was having letting this drip and run down the piece. So I covered the pieces with this black bar, the pink one, because I wanted to give it an antique, decayed, faded, old-aged look with the piece. It didn't really matter how much black stayed on, as long as it sort of gave it this sort of aged, spooky, haunted look. And it also aided with that tree because I didn't want to add any features to it, because I kind of wanted it to look like the face was there but not there. Because you know when you go for a bushwalk and you sometimes see faces in the trees and you're like, is that a ghost tree or is that just like a tree? So I wanted to kind of give it that look without adding too much of the features. So the black antiquing also added those features in with a little bit more contrast to the rest of the brown. Once I was done, I was actually umming and ahhing about what to do in the center. I was going to just glaze them with a colored glaze, but as I was sponging them down, I noticed that the black wash was leaving these really cool bubble cauldron like watermarks in the center. So I started intentionally squeezing the leftover black wash off the sponge into each pumpkin mug to give it this sort of cauldron potion-y look on the inside. Once I'd done that, it was then time to work on my pink one, which I did a yellow antique wash to sort of make it a little bit more of a pop fun color one rather than this creepy, eerie black that I've been using on all the other ones. I love them as a set, but I just had to bring out the pastels because I couldn't help myself. So with the pink one, I also glazed the inside with a pink glaze, like a really soft pink glaze to complement it, because I didn't do that black sort of cauldron-y run like I did on the other ones. And then it was time to fire them. Now these mugs are wide. They are such a lovely, lovely shape. They are perfect pumpkin shape. But because they're so wide, I could only fit 4 in at a time, and only on the bottom shelf, because my kiln is like a real baby small kiln. Don't worry, I'm gonna get a big kiln soon, but it's really small, so I could only fit 4, and then I had to do a separate firing with the remaining 3. So here I am packing the first kiln load. I'm always using my hand as a gauge to measure the distance between the pieces so that when they expand, they don't hit each other and glue together, because it's just not a nice time when your hard work sticks to another piece. It's just, you know, I don't want them to stick together. I want them to be separate. I then pack the second kiln load, and here's the results of those ones as well. And let's take a look at all of these gorgeous mugs. They are very spooky, very eerie, and I think very Halloween-y. I don't think these could be done better in my own head. Like, I'm sure people are watching going, oh, I would have done this, or I would have done these colors, but in my head, this looks exactly how the piece was meant to look. And I took a lot of learning and experimenting from previous Halloween pieces, so from the year before, from the Halloween pieces there, to know exactly what I wanted to do with these pieces and to know exactly what they were going to look like, and I love them. I think they turned out so great. The colors are vibrant, but they've also got this eerie kookiness about them, and I love that it was very minimal, the work that I did to them, but they're still amazing. I have been having a bit of issues with my purple, which I'll showing you there where it sort of repels from the clay once it's been glazed, but only in big areas. It's fine when I paint little flowers, so I don't know what that's about, but I wanted to show you anyway. Here is the pink one. It is soft, it is subtle, I like it. I feel like even the eyes could be a different color, like a nice little bright color. But something I did notice is that I had a few intentional looking cracks. I say intentional because they happened on the seams of the pumpkin, and I noticed it was the really thin ones compared to the thicker ones that have no cracks. I think that this is one of those times where if I had time to perfect, and I don't really get that, I guess, like leeway each week to sort of develop and make sure everything is perfectly correct. So I would say that these cracks have happened just to not being able to perfect the thickness of the mugs and how thick they need to be. Another flaw I noticed is that the handle is quite hollow. So on the pieces that were thinner compared to the thicker ones, I noticed the handle was hollow for cleaning. So I don't know how that would go drinking from. And I feel like that's a major design flaw, which is where some of the mug designs where they aren't attached, you've got to attach them post pouring, are a lot better because you don't have that hole. That might be where a tea light design would be a lot better, because I just don't know about the food safety of the ones that have a more hollower handle. You'd have to rinse it out really well and maybe even have a bottle brush to get into the handle there. Maybe the handle's a bit more solid on the center as you get into there, but yeah, it doesn't look good. I think it's a design flaw personally. I love them regardless. They could be great planters even. I love how the cauldron drippiness worked inside all of them. They are amazing and just add a little bit more character to the internal side of them, and they just look amazing. What do you think of this very Halloweeny mystery mold? Let me know in the comments, and I'd also love your ideas on what I could maybe make in one of these for next week. I have another very Halloweeny reveal next week, so I would love to know what you think is inside. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.